Hi, it's Alice. I'm back with a market update for the Victoria real estate market for May 2019. So, the real estate market in Victoria this month has been... Did my sound effect going? Yeah, crickets. It is slow, and I know it's not just me, because at my meeting there were a lot of jokes about how slow the market has been. So I'm glad to hear people are doing so poorly and not being run off their feet, just like me. No, it's slow. The sales are actually up for May, but it still doesn't feel like a white hot market like we'd all love it to be, I suppose. So it is a bit slower, and I'm going to go through it, and I have the numbers for the Victoria Real Estate Board and just a few little tidbits that I've come across. Honestly, it's not an exciting month. It's just maybe little indicators of what to expect in the future. So, anyways, notably, I'm just going to go through my notes here. The Office of the Superintendent of Financial Institutions, so OFSI, has I guess they suggested or urged the big banks to increase their domestic stability buffers. So basically their buffers that they would dig into if there were some kind of global collapse or really drastic recession, that they would need to kind of have a little bit of a cushion financially so that they wouldn't have to do taxpayer bailouts or liquidate assets. So that kind of stuff. And they increased those amounts in April by roughly, I believe it's 16%. And they are also going to raise them a further 14% in October. So, you know, when I see something like that, and I think a lot of people, if you read that, you see that and you're thinking, you know, they're saying it's because the household debt is basically at an all-time high, and the residential real estate market is a little bit shaky or uncertain, and they're just hedging their bets. They're, you know, saying to the banks, hey, put a bigger cushion there, you're probably going to need it, or just in case. And, you know, that to me is not very bullish on the market, and it's not very bullish on the economy remaining really strong. So that's just one indicator that I would look at and think, if they're preparing for maybe a rainy day, then there may be reason for that. The government tends to have pretty intelligent analysts working for them, and if they're suggesting something, I would tend to listen to them. The other thing that I noticed from a mortgage broker who visited my brokerage's weekly meeting, he was mentioning that the government was urging mortgage brokers, or just lenders in general, to focus on signing buyers up for 10-year fixed rate mortgages and not the 5-year. So basically lock them in at today's rate for as long as possible. A lot of people don't like doing that because, you know, if you're young, you don't normally want to lock in for 10 years into a mortgage, because then you are either paying fees to get out of it or what have you, and it reduces your mobility. But I think the government's reasoning behind that was that if in the foreseeable future the mortgage rates do go up, that again gives a grace period, I suppose, to people having to suffer higher debt service payments, namely on their mortgages. So that's interesting that they really want people to sign up for those long-term financial commitments, and that they're concerned with people locking in those rates. Most mortgage brokers, I don't think, like doing that. I don't know if they get a kickback when, probably every time they refinance they get something, so it's not in their interest, but it is what it is. The mortgage broker was also saying that, notably, like last year he was talking a lot about bridge loans were being really hot and used a lot, which he still mentions them, but the biggest thing he was saying was that refinances on, you know, staying in their property and just refinancing has been really busy lately. And it seemed that a lot of people that he was dealing with were doing debt consolidation and refinancing and, how did he put it, essentially stabilizing their situation and figuring things out, planning their debt payments, trying to just get everything in order, instead of trying to figure out ways to move up or sell their house or whatever. It seems like people are kind of hunkering down, which, as I always say, if you've been listening to me, that's exactly what I've been suggesting that people do for the past year, is hunker down if you are in debt, to figure it out, sort out those payments, try and get rid of the debt altogether if you can, if it's not a mortgage, and just prepare yourself for less sunny weather, I suppose I would say. And so hearing that, yeah, it's not exciting, but I'm kind of glad to hear that. I really like to hear people taking care of those important things, because, you know, ultimately the last thing you want to see is people heading into an economic, possibly a recession, and not having their debt sorted out, you know. And we don't want to see people foreclosing, or I guess some people do, but, you know, we want to see as little hardship as possible. So people taking care of that right now, I'd say it's a nice thing to see. Yeah, CMHC is standing by their stress test. I know a lot of people were haranguing the government and trying to at least get that softened a bit, but it's not changing as far as I can see right now. On to the numbers for the Victoria market. Again, sometimes people ask me if I do the Vancouver market. I feel like you could bug Steve Soretsky if you want that stuff. He works there. He's got his feet on the ground there. I don't like to talk about markets that I am not actively working within, and to be honest, it's like, yeah, Victoria's gone up, but I don't think I'd have any good news to report on Vancouver. I think it's probably continuing to go down. So that's my guess. I believe I heard it's like down 52% in sales, I think. But I'm not going to state any numbers. It's not my area of expertise. Anyways, for Victoria, BC, the sales have increased, or they did increase in May. So year over year, May saw a roughly 12% increase of sales. So I believe the sales were I'm just going to use my notes, I don't want to say the wrong numbers. The sales were 848. So 848 sales went unconditional versus last year was 755 sales that went unconditional. So 848 is actually close to the 10-year average of sales in May. So yeah, I'm not jumping for joy. Like, I know a lot of people are looking at these numbers, especially home sellers or home owners are thinking like, oh, this is like perfect. The market is going up again, like sales are increasing, and it's like, I hate to burst people's bubbles, but summer tends to be busy for real estate, and if we're going to see a time where it looks, you know, more gloomy or whatever, that's going to be in the wintertime, and when we're going to see good sales and strong price action is going to be in the summer. So, and it's basically June, like we're getting there. This is the busy season. So 12% increase, I mean, it's, you know, good that people are selling their homes, but I'm not getting excited. It is what it is. Interestingly enough, in the VREB notes, they were saying that they're blaming the low sales, even though the sales were higher. They're blaming them on low inventory, which brings me to the point that inventory is up again, like it's been going up since I've been doing these, and it's up about 26%. So we've broken above the 2,000s and we're into 3,000. We have 3,019 active listings now in Victoria, and last year that number was exactly 2,394 active listings. So that's a decent increase. You know, when I'm in the back end of the MLS in the matrix system, some days there's like 75 listings coming on just like a weekday. So there's a lot of listings coming to market and it is busy. So saying that people are not buying because of low inventory, I don't feel that to be true. The buyers that I am working with, there is a lot of choice. Like, I'm working with a couple that's looking for a home in the 600 to 700 range with a suite or a possibility for a suite, and the past 2 homes that they've been interested in have gone into multiple offers on the first or second day. So if something's priced appropriately in that price point that a lot of people are looking at, there's choice, but the good stuff is still going fast. It's the really, really expensive stuff or the low-end stuff that's really overpriced that is not selling so well. So mid-range stuff seems to be where it's at, like 600 to 800K with a suite, single-family home. Those tend to be quite busy, especially the closer you get to downtown. What else? So the HPI benchmark home price for Victoria, actually, it doesn't make me happy, but it's funny to see another month where the HPI benchmark price has come down, whereas it, even as sales were slow last year, it kept creeping up. And my last video I pointed out that I think since January, February, it's been like 2% decreases year over year. So once again, this is in a lower number than the year before. So the HPI benchmark price is $860,000. No, $860,800 for May 2019, and $886,000 roughly was May 2018. So yeah, that number has come down, and condos are actually up. So single family dwellings are down, but condos are up roughly 2.6% year over year. So they are up. The benchmark price for condos, I think that's for the core condos, is $519,000 roughly. Somebody did ask the median home price for Victoria. I only have access in my data package for the median Greater Victoria home price. I don't have one for the core, but for the median price for Greater Victoria for 2019 was $775,000. And for May 2018, it was $825,000. So the median price of what's selling this May was a lot lower than the previous May. But anyways, that's what I have for you. If it's helpful, great. If not, then, you know, find a funny cat video to watch on YouTube. I don't know. Yeah, the market's slow. And, you know, if you're buying, there's lots to look at. There are still some overpriced properties out there for sure, but there are also ones that are being, you know, priced quite low with hopes of bidding wars or what have you. So it is what it is. It's a weird market, and it's transitional as well. But again, as I always keep ending my videos, please just, if you're in debt or what have you, just take the time to transition into a really stable place financially, and it will benefit you. So that's all I have. If you have any questions or comments, leave them below. I haven't been reading the comments too much. If you have been following me, you know that I hate trolls, and it puts me in a bad mood for my day, so I don't really read the comments all that much. But a few of you have emailed me personally with your personal questions, and I'm always happy to help wherever I can. So if you want to do that, my email is below as well. And yeah, that's it. So I'm going to leave you there, and if you want to stick around and watch just a little bit longer, I'm just going to put in a little snippet of the greatest fight scene ever filmed. Bye. I'll catch you next week.
Yeah. See ya.